Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and in this video we're going to go deeper into things you can do with the Vue CLI. So I'm going to open up that project that we created, which was, I think, project 2 here. And I'm going to open up the terminal there. And here's the thing. Oh, I opened it up in that folder. Well, let's just CD up one folder. There we go. Now, there's another cool tool that you can just easily add in with the Vue CLI called Router. What Router is going to do is going to allow you to kind of have that multi-page feel, because, you know, if you've been doing websites for a while, you're probably used to kind of setting up multiple HTML files, multiple pages. This allows you to kind of have that feel, but it's still a one-page application. Okay, so the way we add it is we'll just do Vue. Now, keep in mind, if you do this, it's going to overwrite your project. So only do this early on. Like, if you already kind of built out your thing, then you don't want to do this. You'll lose all your work. This is just a practice project, so I don't mind. So Vue add router. Okay, Vue add router. It's going to install router. Okay, so it's doing the router. There it goes. Now it's going to ask me, do I want history mode for a router? Okay, that's if you have a more sophisticated server setup, because what happens is that you're sort of mocking endpoints on the front end. So if someone hits the refresh page, there is no server to request that endpoint from, so it'll have like an error, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. But there are ways where you set up sort of like a fallback server, so that way if it goes back, it just kind of reroutes them back to that main page. But we're not going to worry about that now, so I'm going to say no. Okay, that's something to look into later. Read the documentation on how to set that up. Okay, it's the same issue with all the routers, Angular router, React router. They all have that sort of, challenge you have to deal with. Okay, so now that router's installed, let's take a look what the files look like. So you'll see that, like, my app.vue has been completely rewritten. Okay, and notice the script tag's gone. Okay, because the idea is that you're no longer really going to be doing stuff here. Okay, other than maybe some, you might end up adding some stuff here if you want to create like a template of sorts. But the way it works is if you take a look at the template here, these are links. Okay, so these are like links to the different pages. And then router view is where the actual page will show up. Okay, and right now there's 2 pages, so it creates a new folder here called views with all your pages. So here you would create your different pages. So again, if you're doing just like a piece, it goes in components. If you're doing a whole page, it goes in views. And then here in router, you'll see your router. So basically, as you make your pages, you'll add routes here. Okay, you can just copy this first route for home and just keep using that as your template for your future routes. Okay, and essentially what's happening is that this is being exported and being fed into here. So that router is already pre-configured for your Vue instance. So that app container already has access to the router. Okay, so you don't have to kind of, that's why you don't see any kind of JavaScript here, because it doesn't need it at the moment. We may need it later if we want to add some more components and whatnot onto here. Because usually what I'd like to do is like put like a header and a footer component above and below the router view. But we'll come back to that. So let's just see how it works. So let's do a Vue npm run serve. Okay, that's gonna build the project, and right now it's gonna look like the default page again. So let's go to localhost. Let me just close some of these tabs. Yep. Yep. Okay, and let's do it right over here. Localhost. Localhost 8080. Okay, and that's right, because I edited the hello world component. Okay, but see here, these 2 links, these are the 2 links that we saw at the very beginning of our template, and when I switch them, it switches pages. And you can see over here, the URL changes too. That's what makes it a route. Okay, because it actually feels like you're going to a different page. You're still on the same screen. You never actually went to another page. The page never reloaded. It's just switching out the component that you see here in the middle. Okay, so that's essentially what's happening. This is why I kind of like to create a header component. So let's see here. Let's create a new file, header.vue. Okay, and we'll just say, hey, this is template. Okay, h1. This is the header. Okay, and then I gotta just do the basic script. Okay, export default name header. Okay, I'm not gonna worry right now about that. So I'm actually just gonna copy this. Then we're gonna create another file, a new file called footer.vue, and this will just be the footer. Okay, this is the footer. Okay, so I had those two components. And then I'm going to go back to my app.vue. Now I am going to create a script tag because it's lacking one at the moment. Okay. And notice how like it's auto-completing for me. That's because I have a couple cool Vue extensions. This one in particular, Vue, which gives you all sorts of cool Vue superpowers. Okay, which makes life a lot easier. Okay, so Vue. But what I want here, what I need, actually I don't even, yeah, I do need that in a second. I need to import. First I'm going to import header from /components /header.vue. Okay, just missing dot over here. And then a closing thing. Then I need another one of these for footer. Then I need to register those components. Okay, so I'm going to put the name thing here again. Name app and components. I'm going to put header footer. Okay, and then I can surround this with header and footer. Okay, so this way, like the setup of my page, so see, this is the footer, this is the header, and the idea is just that way the setup of my page, regardless of what's in the middle, stays the same. And you can see, no matter what I do, all it's changing is what's in the middle. The header and the footer are still always there. Okay, and that's kind of the beauty of a router. Okay, gives you that multi-page feel, but you can still kind of set up your your template and your layout, and then all you have to do is worry about the content that's in the middle. So wherever this router view component is, that's where the current link, the route link, will show up. And I can move where it shows up. I can just say, okay, well, I want you to be, maybe I create like a grid, and then I just put the router view inside like a div in that grid. And then that's where all the changing pages show up. However you want to do it. Okay, the idea is just that this will output the current component based on the current route, based on your links. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much how Router works. That's all there is. Basically, if you want to create a new page, you just go over to Views, add another page. Okay, so let's see here. Let's create another one. I'll just copy this. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll just copy this. Copy. New file. We'll just call this another view. .view. I'll paste this. Okay. Control C. Okay. And say this is some other page. Okay, and yeah, I don't really care about the classes and stuff. So then I go over to Router. Okay, and Router already knows to kind of like pull everything from Vue. So like, okay, well, actually take a look. There's two ways you can do this. You can import the component from the Vue folder. which is what they did with home. So you see home, they actually do the export. Okay, so I like that way better, so I'm gonna go back and do the export in my Vue. See, this one doesn't have an export. So what they did is they did this. They just said the component, okay, you're gonna import whatever is inside this file. You could do that as well. I think it's easier to do the component. This is a lot cleaner looking. Okay, and then just make sure way you do things a little bit more consistent. So I'm gonna go back to my other view, do my script tag, and then we're gonna do a name, and we're just gonna call this another view. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to my router and import that. So import another view from views / another view. Okay, and then I'll just copy this, and we're gonna say the endpoint is another, and we're gonna call this another, just the name of the route, and then the component that gets rendered there is another view, or another view. There we go. Okay, cool. Now let's go create another link in our app. So I'll create another link here. So do another pipe. Nope, that's PyCharm. Not doing that right now. Okay, and then paste that there. And then this will be another. And then again, this is going to go to the endpoint another. Okay, so now let's go back to our page here. See, it adds the link. See, this is some other page. So you can create as many pages as you want. And you can, doesn't have to be like your nav doesn't have to look like this. It's just an example. Again, anything is done any way you want. But yeah, this gives you a lot of cool powers as far as being able to organize your code, which is nice. Yeah, that's all fine and good. And then again, you can pass in. Yeah, no, I'll just leave it at that. Again, you can read up more on Router and the Router section of the Vue documentation to learn about things like how to pass extra data, set up variable routes. Instead of creating a route for every link, let's say you have an array of things, you can create like dynamic routes, so that way it will render based on the thing you select. There's lots of cool stuff you can do. But I'll let you kind of play around with that.